Hello, hello, hello. I'm perfectly audible. Am I? Let's wait for a few minutes because the link is updated, waiting for others to join in. Any doubts so far? Hmm. Yeah, sure. Hello, hello. Yeah, sure, Akshat. Do you have any question? Do you have any example? Because वो ज़्यादा easy रहेगा. मैं आपको example में बता पाऊंगी. Any question do you remember? I'm not able to recall. In case you remember, let's do that question. Okay. Preliminary substantive procedures initially. Okay, initially the substantive procedures when they are doing the audit. Hmm. Hmm. When they're doing audit. And towards the end, analytical review of the substantive procedure is just to confirm, just to review whether the audit was done properly or not. If I talk about the preliminary procedures, okay, so they'll check test of details, they'll do all everything in detail. But when I talk about analytical procedures, they'll check whether the total is correct or not, so that they can ensure. Okay, usually they're at the review stage. Just a second. If I find an example, it will be better. आपको अच्छे से समझ आएगा. कहाँ पढ़ा आपने मतलब exactly do you remember at which area you've gone through this? Kaplan book? Chalo, let me find out examples. Would be much easy. एक second. If I find out this into section B, it would be best. Risk area. Night company. No, it's not talking about any. Harlem company. एक study text में. Just a second. एक minute. Hmm. Right. Okay. Now see, preliminary analytical procedures, if I talk about, whenever they are doing audit, they need to understand how the entity is. Okay, whenever they're starting with the audit, at that stage, initial stage, they need to understand how the company is. For that, they'll consider some of the procedures. Here, the examples are given or not? Examples are not given. And towards the analytical substantive analytical procedures, just substantive procedures to check the analytical substantive procedures to confirm the balance for the mathematical accuracy and everything. But if I talk about towards the end, they'll check the total in the sense whether the balance is correct as per this or not. When if I compare about the preliminary analytical procedure, they can also check the previous year balance, whether the previous year balance is correct or not, to understand how the entity is working, or whatever the balance they are showing into the financial statement. Is it correct or not? I guess ChatGPT will be able to give better examples. Let me see. Analytical. Yes. And final one is not clear. The last one, na? Final one in the sense, see, before forming a proper opinion, they'll also check once more. That is a final review. Towards the end, they'll once more check the total. Total in the sense current year total. They though they might have done, they have done test of detail, but one last check. Did you do in exam while submitting MCQs? You'll just go one last check. They can also check the total difference as compared to the last year. How much is it, or is it acceptable everywhere or not? That is final towards the end before submitting. Yeah, final review. Final review. Yeah, that's it. And final review. There's this example as well. It's taking some time. Shall we do a question meanwhile? This is audit risk question. This question includes. No, this question. 66. Let's do this question. एक second, ना. Let's do this preliminary question, and then if I find out for final analytical review procedures, we can also do that. Okay. So yeah, let's see. Which of the following are appropriate auditor response to increased risk of created by finance team being allocated to the work of financial controller? You need to identify what is the risk when you give the risk for finance team being allocated work of finance controller. You need to check for this. Finance person is given, finance team is allocated for a role of finance controller. Like this. So we are just solving a doubt, and then we can start with the substantive procedure. Okay. Hmm. Audit team should be fully briefed and alert throughout the audit of additional errors. Do you think? Hmm? Is this correct? Is this correct? Audit team should fully be briefed. Okay, let's give it a read. It's 1st July 2025. You are an audit manager in Owl and Company, responsible for audit of Hawk Company. Hawk Company manufactures kites, which it sells via its website directly to customers. Okay, it's selling directly to the customers. You are currently planning the audit for 31st July. Two issues have been brought. The finance controller attention during the planning meet. ChatGPT has still not replied to me. Great. एक second. The finance controller of Hawk Company, who had been employed by the company for over 20 years, the finance controller of Hawk Company, who had been employed by the company for over 20 years, he has been employed, was dismissed in May 2025. A claim for unfair dismissal has just been received. So there's unfair dismissal has been received. No replacement has been found for the financial controller of yet, and tasks are being shared between finance team until the role. Okay, what's the problem? What is the work of the finance controller? Hmm? Answer. What's the work of finance controller? Akshat? Cameras on, guys. Hello, good evening. Cameras on. Approving financial decisions? Sure, then what will finance director will do? Finance controller will control in the sense they'll also check for credits as well. If there's no credit control, they'll also do that work as well. Okay. So that is the work of the finance controller. Finance director is a higher position. Just a second. Finance director is a higher position. Okay, my ChatGPT is not working. Is that working by your end? Can you give me Abolo? They'll able to give you some examples. Okay. Yeah. Now, if I talk about the audit team should be fully briefed and alert throughout the audit additional errors, yes, they should because the finance controller department is doing. Finance controller is not present. Finance team is doing. So they need to be alert. Correct. Auditor should appoint expert to properly assess. Do you think there is an expert required? No. Right. The finance director should be requested to provide audit team with the assistance method that cannot be addressed by the remaining team. What do you think? The finance director should be requested to provide the audit team with the assistance of matter that cannot be addressed by remaining finance function. Sure. If the finance director is providing assistance to the audit team, what's the problem? Do you think there is a problem? Don't you find any problem in this? Which of the following are appropriate auditor response to the increased audit risk of the finance team being allocated? Huh. This is correct actually. Finance director should be requested to provide audit team with the assistance. Yes, they can give the assistance how it should be there because because for a while the work of finance controller he's gonna do. The auditor should consider resigning from the engagement. Can they resign? No, this is not a matter to resign. Okay. That's why no. एक second. We can also ask to co-pilot. Just a second. They can also do this. Just hope it works. Provide me example, example. preliminary analytical procedures and final review, no? Final review analytical procedures. With the difference in tabular form. Not working. Just a second. Let's do this question, then let's try another way. Okay. Now, next one. Which three of the following statement are true in relation to lack of supplier statement reconciliation? One more thing. The payable. The payables ledger supervisor left in March. Payable ledger left in March 20XI. And a replacement has only been appointed last week. Replacement was only done in last week. Oh, for this period, no supplier statement reconciliations were done. Or trade payables account reconciliations were performed. Finance Director has also provided you with the most recent management accounts to enable you to perform preliminary analytical procedure, and you have calculated the ratio. Initial analytical procedures. Okay. Now you tell me, as per this, what is the situation? There is no one in a, not from March, and only 1 week is done. 6 weeks, no? Or 1 week. Just a second. For last week only. Last week only. 8 seconds. Now let's see. Which three of the following statement are true? In the case of the lack of the supplier statement reconciliation. The auditor should perform supplier statement reconciliation for Hawk Company. Hmm. No supplier and no trade payable has been there. And first one, true or false? Misstatement of trade payables? No, no. Is this statement true or false? Why? Why?
तो मॉनिटर बस रिव्यू करेगा ना, मतलब उनके लिए परफॉर्म थोड़ी रिकंसिलेशन।
True. Right. Okay. There is an increased risk of misstatement of payables, trade payables. There is no reconciliation statement. Yes, true. The misstatement of the purchase accrual balance may go undetected. What do you think? True. Because there's no statement reconciliation happening, that's why they can go undetected. Okay, that's a problem. The auditor will need to send request for confirmation of the balance of the supplier statement. Will the auditor need to do that? No. Yes. Increase substantive will need to yes because there is no supply statement. Okay. There. See, the point is if your client is not sending, auditor need to send. एक second, let me give it a read once more. The payable ledger supervisor and replacement only been appointed. However, there's no supplier statement reconciliation were performed. Finance sector also provide you recent. Huh. How can an auditor send it? Confirmation of balances. Okay. There was a lack of this person. So in this area, substantive testing will be required more. Okay. Unfair dismissal. This is the preliminary. Okay. In respect of the unfair dismissal claim, which of the following audit procedure is not appropriate? What do you think? Not appropriate. एक second. Huh? Answer. Meanwhile, I'm searching this. That's why. What audit response is not appropriate? Dismissal claim. What do you think? Can they do correspondence review? Acha, ek aur, one more thing. In these kind of questions, discuss the claim. Okay. In these kind of question, usually, you know what students mess up with? They'll forget this not and they'll choose the wrong answer. Like they are likely to choose the wrong answer. Yeah, I got it. Chalo. Very good difference. Okay, got it. Chalo. Yeah, now let's see this. Now here the problem is whenever you have not in that scenario, forget about not and which is correct, choose that. In respect of the unfair dismissal claim, which of the audit procedure is appropriate? Forget about not as of now, just for a few minutes. Okay, forget about this. Review correspondence in the scenario. Do you review correspondence? Yes. Do you review board meetings? Yes, because there is a dismissal. This is a bigger issue. That's why. Review correspondence between company and its lawyers? Yes, you'll do that. Discuss the claim. Can you discuss that with the finance controller? Nah. If you do this, correct answer. If you do this, you cannot discuss this because there could be a legal issue. Okay, that's why. All right. Just a second. Now you need to see which audit risk can be identified from the preliminary analytical procedures performed. In the preliminary analytical procedures, they'll check the profit margins and everything. See, look at this. Mm, gross profit margin 17%. Two issues. Audit manager, Hawk company manager sales via website directly or to the customer. You're currently viewing the audit plan. Okay. That is for the year 25. There's decreased by how much? 9%. Payables payment period have decreased. What are the reasons for decreased? Receivable collection period have increased. What are the problems do we find out? So true. This is preliminary. This is preliminary in the sense auditor even before starting they'll check the ratios and they'll consider the possible risk of it. It is 1st July. The audit of Hawk Company. Hawk Company manufacture kite which sells via its website directly to customer. You are selling the audit for you are doing audit for the year ended 31st July. Two issues are there. And in two issues, there is one more problem. Finance director left the company. No, finance controller left the company. Okay, and finance director is taking care of that particular area. And payable ledger is also not prepared. Now you tell me what is the problem in this. बताओ बताओ. True completeness. See, there's a problem. There was no one doing supplier statement. There is a decrease in the period. There are very high chances that the supplier, or sorry, the payable, all not all payables have correct correctly recorded. Not all have recorded, right? And there's an increase, which can be say we can say that overvalued risk, right? Preliminary risk. If I tell gross profit margin, there is a problem. They are also doing website sales. There's a problem that they might have not included all the sales correctly. Not website sales, not all website sales. The reason is there is no finance controller, or they might have they due to lack of the finance controller, that could be an issue. They might have not been able to do that. These are some preliminary issues they could identify. Now look at this. Which do you think? Which one is correct? See, I feel this is correct. This part, huh? So the same thing, this is also correct. Hmm. True. This is also correct. This is also same thing. Correct. No, no. See, just a second. There is a problem. Accurately and completely. That's a problem. I feel this is correct. Actually, both seems to be correct. But yeah, look at the extended credit terms may have been given to customer. Is there increase or decrease? And if you say this, is this a risk related to the financial statement? Hmm? No, it's not a risk. It's not a risk at all, right? So this is not correct. Revenue may have been recognized too early. Not possible. If they would have recognized revenue, then gross profit margin would have increased. But here there is a case of decrease. So this is not possible. Same with this. So matlab B and C is anyways not possible. कौन सा बचा दी? Receivables may be overvalued. Yeah, correct D. Okay. Preliminary analytical procedures. Chalo, there are some examples. Let me just a second. एक second. Don't worry, we'll cover all your substantive procedures. Just copy this and we'll share this file with you. Okay, you can review this. एक second. Final. एक second. Not everything is copied. Just give me a time. Give, Just few minutes. One thing. And if I talk about the examples, you can read this, give it a read, or yeah. If I talk about features, preliminary and final. This is initial planning stage. This is completion stage. Final review. Primary objective, high level in they okay. Primary objective, they'll find out the risk. They'll have to find out the risk. Overall conclusion, how this is. The high level and detailed final level. Questions will be considered. Explain the evidence what they have considered, or in audit plan they'll this will form audit plan and this will form audit opinion. Is it mandatory? Yes, both are mandatory. Okay, now if I talk about the example, see, now you don't need to do question, examples are fine. Trend analysis, when you do initially the gross profit margin trend, that you are able to identify ki, acha, initial stage only these are the risks. Okay, ratio analysis, liquidity, how much liquidity is there, reasonable analysis, payroll analysis, everything. Okay, let's say for example a company is very small but the salary is they are paying 60 lakhs or 1 crore. You can understand that there are many risk of fictitious employees or fictitious salaries. That is the situation. If I talk about final review, they'll check the adjustments whether that is correct, whatever the accrual they have considered, any legal fees. A final review action, whatever the actions they have taken, is that correct, is the gross margin whatever they are taking towards a final review, is this correct, or cash flow towards the final review, whatever the adjustments they are taking, considering, or whatever the evidence they have collected, is this correct towards the final review. Okay, just to form an opinion. Understood the difference? That's the thing. Yes or no? Only 13 students are there. Hello. हेलो हेलो अक्षत, समझ आया? The same thing can be also helpful into your substantive procedures. Okay, now let's start with the substantive procedures again. हाँ अक्षत, yes, tell me. Raise your hand ना. Tell me क्या हुआ? है ना chances? In ACCA, you can never predict papers. Analytical procedure and substantive review for initial preliminary procedures. We need to understand the difference. If you understand the difference, good. Okay. Chances are that for sure they can ask. Bank and cash. Do you want to do this from this or directly a question? Or do you need a brief from this or directly question? Choose one thing. कर लेते हैं हो जाएगा. What do you think? One task you have to do is identify uh, the material. Direct question? Direct question? Cool. All right. But yeah, you can see, do one thing. If you're not doing from here, direct question, let's do direct question. But before jumping to question, I want to give you the whatever the documents because then it would be easy. Give me bank and cash documents, substantive. एक सेकेंड. Hmm. Explain the procedures in case of the standard costing. Logically, you think. Just taking a random sheet, जहाँ जगह मिले. Okay. Standard cost. If there is inventory valued at standard cost. Okay. One thing with inventory is the inventory should always be valued at lower of cost and NRV. Okay. And they are considering standard cost for all the inventory. First thing you need to review whether this standard cost is in line with the actual cost or not. How much difference is there? Okay. And also they need to check whether the inventory valuation is correct. Okay. When they're doing standard cost, check for the detail cast the detail of the standard cost, uh, detail summary of what level, because in inventory there are going to be different level. Okay, different level or different type. Check for that. Also, if they are taking the standard cost, you need to consider how is the standard cost measured, how, on what basis. Okay. One more thing, whether standard cost is updated or not, that also you need to consider. है ना? It should be regularly updated because if the company is doing and if it's not considering the updated scenario, that's a problem. So these are some general procedures. Okay. You can ask the management representation as well. You can ask the management, inquire with the management because management is identifying the standard cost. Okay. If there's a standard cost, whatever the standard cost have taken, if you verify this is correct, check the calculation whether it is calculated correctly or the level, percentage level. Let's say there are different type of goods. Okay. Do you know these Dell company or any electronic company? Even if let's say I talk about washing machine. Okay. During transportation, even minute defect, they sell to off market. Off market in the sense, वहाँ पे usually goods are sold at less than 50% in those markets. Okay. Now, if you have these kind of goods, what standard cost are you considering? Let's say if there's washing machine, in that there's just a bump. At what percentage do you consider? At what reduction? I mean, what reduction value percentage do you consider? Or let's say in that particular machine, the buttons are broke. You can replace to any dummy buttons. That's not going to be original. So that is a major, more than that. Damage level will be more. What percentage do you consider? That's thing you need to consider. And what standard costing are you taking? Are you taking the correct level? These are standard cost. Okay? Hmm. Okay. Uh, for bank and cash. Let's do a question. Let me find out a question. There's trade payables as well and provisions as well. We can do all three. Like September, December 22 question will be better. September, December 22. Pacific Company. Hmm. Right. Sure. That's true. Now read this carefully. Let's see this. Okay, first thing. Okay. Before starting, let me give you, documents which you'll take whenever there's bank and cash, whenever they are talking about bank and cash. Logically, what documents do you think you can consider? Tell me the document's name. Hmm? Tell me the document's name. There are some documents. See, if you remember documents, substantive procedures are going to be 90% easy for you. That's the easiest way. Bank and cash. Mm-mm. Oh, now see. What are the external evidence you can consider? Bank confirmation letter. You can get a confirmation from the bank. It will give you existence check, year-end bank statement. Okay, you can ask for year-end bank statement, cut-off bank statement for the period you want after the year end or before the year end. After the year end, let's say there is a cash sales happening. Yes, bank reconciliation, bank confirmation. Yeah, true. After the year end, let's say there's a cash sales or uncleared check. For that, you can check for the bank statement. Okay. Cut-off bank statement for any uncleared check. If there is any uncleared check after the year end, you can check whether the check was cleared or not. Okay, if I talk about the internal records, it is bank reconciliation statement. It will provide the transactions, cash book or general ledger will have cash count sheet in case of the cash system, right? Schedule of outstanding check, whatever the outstanding, how many outstanding check are that, whether when will it be submitted, check stubs, whether all records of the check. Okay, accountant files, the same thing. Paying slips or deposit slips. Okay, that is also a way you can check. So these are some general things. Um, Cash balance statement, BRS statement. Yeah, only these are the statements which you can identify. Now let's see this. अब easy लगेगा. Discuss the substantive procedure. Okay, they want for completeness and that too for payables and accruals. The payables are completely recorded or not. And describe the substantive procedures the auditor should perform obtain to sufficient appropriate edit evidence in regards with the provision of the legal claims. Okay. There is no assertion. In here, they only want completeness. Describe substantive analytical procedure auditor should perform in case with the revenue. There is no bank or cash. 8 seconds. Why there is no bank cash? Just a second. Shall we do this? It does not have bank and cash balance. Do you remember any question which has bank and cash balance? 250 number. Which number is this? 241. Can you tell me the box page number directly, Naira? Box page number, this page number, in case you know. Jasmine Company. Okay. We can do this question, not an issue, but yeah, after doing bank and cash, because that's also one thing I need to consider. Jasmine Company and hmm, let's do this. Describe that should be sufficient trade receivables. Okay, this also has. In evidence with the trade receivables. Substantive auditor. Okay, for the bank balance, they need to confirm. Describe audit procedures, assessing whether Jasmine concern is a going concern or not. Going concern issues. Okay, you need to check for it. 5 marks. And okay, discuss the issues auditors Jasmine Company inadequate disclosure of the going concern. Okay, let's see for the bank. Do you wanna do full question or only bank? Because the same trade receivables, trade payables part is there as well. Trade receivable is there. We did trade receivable yesterday. What do you wanna do? Aap batao, it's your choice. We did trade receivables yesterday. Only bank? Okay. So yeah, if we have time, we can definitely do so that we can, cover up more thing. I want to discuss shares as well because shares is a usually thing students find difficult. Main shares mein to they find difficult. Okay. Describe for the bank statement. And are they asking audit procedure should perform assessing whether or not, nahi, nahi, describe should obtain sufficient evidence for bank balance. Okay. Just a brief. It's 1st July 20x5. 1st July 20x5. Jasmine manufactures motor vehicle component and its year end was 30th April 20x5. You're an audit supervisor of Peppermint Company. Audit supervisor of a Peppermint Company and final audit is due commence shortly. Total assets are 43.2 million. Profit before income taxes 7.2 million. Total assets where the bank balance would be included. Okay. Move further. A bank and cash figure included in Jasmine's company draft financial statement is comprised of the bank account balances. First thing is there is an overdraft. Overdraft of 5.1 million, which is company's main current account, and 2 million related to several saving accounts. The finance director has informed the audit manager that all accounts have been reconciled as at the year end. Finance director of that company, all accounts have been reconciled. Okay. Logically, you tell me. First thing, they are talking about there's an overdraft of 5.1 million and companies that is main current account. Several saving accounts are there. First, logical thing. What do you think? Which procedure you should get it? Itna padke I will get one hint. I have multiple areas. Very good. Smart. Bank statement or bank confirmation. Good, very smart. Okay. There is current account as well. Itna pad ke, see, we'll move further. There is current account, but easily visible procedures we'll discuss first and then we'll discuss that. Current account and saving account. Check individual, है ना? Check the individual. Check for the arithmetical accuracy. Yes. Review overdraft limit. Yes. Review overdraft limits. How? How will you do it? Overdraft limits कहाँ से confirm करोगे? By bank confirmation. हाँ, bank confirmation letter. Or in your credit statement as well, you can get an idea of overdraft limit. In credit statement, whenever you're taking an idea. So, bank statement or agreement or something. Okay, overdraft document. First, that's them. They are not talking about analytical procedures or anything. No. Finance director informed that they have reconciled. Check for the reconciliation. Calculate, recalculate, and check for the accuracy. Yes. Check the review bank reconciliation statements. Yes, very good. And then check the balance as per the ledger. Is it correct? And compare that with the bank balance, VRS statement. Check the balance in the cash book. True. Check the significant differences. Yeah, true. Very good. What else? इतना पढ़ के इतना easily visible, right? Now there is an overdraft of 5.1 million. Moving further, there's an overdraft as well of 5.1 million has increased significantly since the prior year. Oh, prior year it was 1.5 and there is 5.1. What are the possibilities? In case there is an overdraft increase, yes, correct. Recalculate the interest. Recalculate the overdraft, whether it's correctly calculated or not. Okay. Check whether loan has not included in overdraft or not. Is the company taking any loan or not? They have not. In case they are taking, check for that. Okay. The director have informed that overdraft facility, which company is required in order to operate daily basis, is due for renewal on August 25, and they are confident it will be renewed. Inform that overdraft facility on daily basis, and it will be renewed. They are sure it will be renewed. Check for the agreement. If they are saying check for the agreement, allowance for what? Agreement or bank confirmation letter. Because there is a huge overdraft. Is there any security provided or not? Because overdraft is huge. For company, do you think allowance can be useful? I don't think so. I don't think so. You better than that, you can write down any penalty for delay or yeah, security or any more interest collateral, security, that's the same. Anything else which is easily visible into this. Anything easily visible. This is how when you do your questions, this is how you do mindstorming way. Okay? No, once you have full drafting technique, once you are able to draft your questions well, you just don't need all the questions to be draft. Towards the end, just do mindstorming, and this is good. This works well. Time लगेगा इसे. It was 600 something. Yeah, look at this. Check the bank confirmation letter. We already discussed. For Jasmine's banker, for all the accounts, whether they are actually present. Agree all the listed account bank confirmation letter to company's bank reconciliation or trial balance general ledger. Oh, we missed out on this point. We need to consider trial balance. We need to consider general ledger. These two documents we missed out on. Okay. For current account, obtain bank reconciliation, cast and check, cast, find out and check the additions to ensure arithmetical accuracy. We included that. Agree the bank is a bank reconciliation to the year-end bank statement. Original BRS as per the original or the bank confirmation letter. Yeah, we included that. Agree the reconciliation balance per the ledger account, whether bank ledger account is included in correctly or not. A reconciliation to the year end or not. Check with that. Okay. Trace all outstanding lodgements. Whatever the outstanding lodgement pre or post year end, you need to get checked. Okay. ये कहाँ से आया? Just a second. Manufacturers motor vehicle is year end and audit was a paper finding beautiful. Hmm. Manufacturer है ना, so that's why you can consider any outstanding lodgement to the pre-year end bank and that has not been submitted. Also in post-year end, you need to consider with the pre-year end paying book, how much payments are left. Okay. Trace all the unpresented check through pre-year end or ledger account. See the pointers. You just need to write down how many things. 5 procedures. Okay. Even if you are able to write down 5 straight, which is visible, you'll get full marks. But you always, even when you're practicing, if you're able to think 5 or 6, still you need to give it a read to these questions because it will expand your thinking capacity. That acha, you can also check for the unpresented check or any unusual amount and check for the explanation from the management. Okay. Check any old unpresented check whether they need to be written back or no longer valid. You need to check for that. Check the bank ledger account statement for any unusual items. It could be evidence for window dressing. You can also consider this. Okay. Examine the bank confirmation for security provided by Jasmine in regards with the bank overdraft. What is the overdraft? Check for any legal rights of set off. How may they require any disclosure. Check for that. For savings bank account, review any reconciling item of the year and bank reconciliation. Agree with the supporting documentation, how they will consider the bank reconciliation. Check the financial statement to ensure disclosure of the bank balance is complete. Check whether it's classed accurately or not, appropriately between current assets, current liability or not. Check, current liability, current assets. Nah, we included one thing whether the non-current liability should not be included, any other liability should not be included. But yeah, we missed out on this. Yeah, there was saving account and there was overdraft as well. So saving account is your current asset and current liability. You need to check for the difference whether it's currently accounted or not. Yeah, we missed out on this. You can check that. Okay, check for all the supporting documentation. That is also understood. Hmm? Will you be able to draft now? You tell me. अब ड्राफ्ट करना आएगा? Those who are saying कि हाँ substantive procedures are difficult. Substantive procedures were difficult for you because you are non-working professionals and you don't know all the documents. So you need to know the documents. What are the things in the document? If you get to know about that, you will be easily able to draft. Or documents ChatGPT can help you. कि हाँ, these are the documents available. Furthermore, you can read the exam kit questions, make a note, and identify. I've given one task. Have you done that? Shared in the group. Share right now. Have you done that? Naira to did in handwritten note. Reporting today you wanna do? Why not tomorrow? You wanna do today? Let's complete shares then. Okay, we are done with this. Anything new we identified in this part? Heron company. Okay, what we can do? We can consider doing this whole question. Latte company of 41. Which was the company? Which company question you wanna do? Heron company, 241 or 240? 240. Because I was planning to do reporting tomorrow. 447 was it? Maybe it was another question. Pacific company, no? We can, inventory valuation is done. We can also pick up research and, acha, let's do this question. Uske pehle wala. Okay, because it has sales tax as well, it has this as well. Okay, it has both research development, it has sales, and we did provision yesterday. Have we done that? See, you need to remember how much topics we are done. We did provision, now we don't need to do provision today. We can go directly with this because sales tax liability is also a good pointer we need to consider. Okay. Inventory valuation was done yesterday, so we'll not pick up that. Okay. Describe substantive procedure in order the auditor should perform and obtain order perform to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence in relation to the Hyacinth company's research and development expenditure. Were we done with this R&D, research and development? Probable. Why do I feel I was done? Actually, same audit class. Matlab, I have multiple audit class. I might have done. Are we done with this research and development? Yes, we are done. Okay. So we are done with that, na? Ki standard we are done with, na? Okay, okay. We are done with the standard. So yeah. As for the research and development expenditure, there are some criteria. Probable. Okay. Probable. No. Sorry. Pirate. Yeah, pirate. If I talk about probable economic flow, you should have enough flow. Intention to complete. Okay, resources to complete. A. T. Technology. Uh, Profit should be there. And plan. Yeah, only these much were there. PIR. Pirate. Intention to complete. एक second, ना? Let me just a second. Wait. See, whenever there's a research and development expenditure, it should have probable benefit for future intention to complete, our reliable measure, yeah, our for reliable measure, adequate resources should be there, technically feasible and expected to be profitable, then only you can capitalize that particular expenditure as development. If not, then you will use as a expense that to P&L statement. Okay, if you capitalize it, you can also take the amortization. But if you don't capitalize it, you have to expense the full thing in a research and development expenditure. Okay, now see, very beneficial, very obvious thing. The management would love to buy, like would be happy to show it as an asset, because showing asset is more beneficial, looks good, rather than showing that as an expense. Okay, that's the thing. Now you need to consider this. ये था ना question. Hmm. See, research and development. 4 marks, 4 marks below. Okay. It's 1st July. It's 1st July. Hassan Company develops manufactures computer component. Its year end is 30th April 20x5. The company has a large factory and two warehouse. Large factory and two warehouse. One of which is off-site. Okay. You're an audit supervisor of Tulip and Company, and the final audit is due to commence shortly. Tulip and Company. The financial statement shows total assets of 23.2 million and profit before income tax shows 6.4 million. The following are the three matters. Okay. First thing is inventory valuation. Moving further. Hyacinth Company, you have to tell me documents. Huh? Hyacinth Company includes expenditure incurred in developing new product. With intangible assets, once recognition criteria under IAS 38 intangible have been met. Intangible assets are amortized over the straight line basis over 4 years once a production commences. That's correct. Intangible assets can only be amortized once the production starts or once it's useful. The amortization is the based on the past experience of likely useful life of the product. Past experience. Do you need to check something for past experience? Hmm? Past reports, CVGs. Okay? Past reports. Right. You need four, right? Only four. I'll tell you five easily visible things of the products. Opening balance of intangible assets is 1.5 million. Easily visible. Current year opening, what will you check for that? Check, what will you check? Last year closing, na? Very good. Easily visible. 2 marks ऐसे ही मिल गए. 2 documents you are able to identify. Confirm the balance. Last year closing. In current year, spent. Okay. Oh, no, no, no. Yeah, yeah. 0.8 million developing three new products which are all at a different stage. Okay. 0.8 million total. Yes, very good. See, now we'll consider all things. Easily visible. New products need recognition criteria. Check how they have met. There are different stages of production. From which stage? From which stage that criteria is met? Only from that stage it will be amortized. Or sorry, it will be considered as a development expenditure. Before that, it cannot be considered as a development expenditure. Okay, check for that. For all three and different. Check for the uh opening. Huh. Hmm. Check for the check for the total cost minus the research. That will be development. Right? Anything else? Fourth thing easily visible. Na? Once the products are complete, check for the whether it's beneficial or not, whether it's you can economically beneficial or not. See, look at this. On the past experience, they are doing it. Check for the whether it was beneficial or not. Okay. And in the research and development criteria, they do check whether it's gonna be feasible. Chalo, feasible is there. Whether it's gonna be beneficial or not, or correct market valuation should be there. Valuation should also be there. So check for the market valuation reports and see confirming these only. Reliable measure. How will they get? Market reports. Expected sales more than few things. More. I got it. See, now let's check with this. Last question. Before that, see, this is what examiner is looking for. We just need to explain properly. That's it. Let's see this. So in exam, even if you use a little bit mind, you'll be able to score audit like good marks in audit. So one very obvious thing. Obtain, cast a schedule of intangible assets, agree closing balance, general ledger, trial balance, draft financial statements, right? Discuss with the finance director rationally because they are taking the 4 years useful life reasonableness. Discuss with that finance director, consider this, check with the management. Recalculate the amortization sample of intangible assets which have been commenced production, whether that is in line with the amortization policy or not, straight line over 4 years or not, commence of the point of production. For all three new projects, there are three computer projects. Discuss with the management detail of project, a stage of development, whether it has been capitalized or expense. Discuss with the management, obvious thing. Fourth, I say easy. We identified more. So in that two things, two periods they were talking about discuss with the management. Discuss this, discuss that. Okay. For those expense research, agree the cost is in the invoice with the supporting documentation, whether that is correct in the PNL or not. Research cost. Okay. For those capitalized development, agree the cost as per the invoice. Is that correct or not? Same thing. Confirm whether it's technically feasible or not, whether there is an intention to complete. This is the whole thing. These for this, those who have knowledge of FR, they'll be able to identify this. Okay. So those students who want to get rank, generally it's preferable to go FR, do FR and then audit. But if you have little bit knowledge, what I'm discussing right now, on that basis also you can draft it. Okay. Now confirm is whether it's going to be technically feasible or discuss complete the project by discussion with once complete probable future economic how much they will arise you need to check. Oh, sorry. Discuss development managers, check the feasibility reports, check with the managers. How feasible is it gonna be? Review market research reports. How is their ability? What ability do they have to sell? How they are gonna sell? What is gonna be the profitability? Check with the cost, projected revenue, cash flow budget for each of the three projects, whether that's gonna be adequate or not. Complete the development stage. Probable future economic benefit exists or not, agree and what stage there is probable economic benefit, only from that stage you will consider, before that you cannot consider. Agree budget or to supporting documentation, check with the supporting documentation. Review the disclosure for intangible assets in the draft financial statement, verify that is in accordance with the IAS 38 or not. Okay, whatever amounts you have shown, that's it. Understood? Any doubt that why is this included or why is that not included? Great. We have then, wait a second. We have then sales tax liability. Sales tax liability. Okay, I'll tell you. See, logical thing. Whenever there's a sales tax happening, first thing, what, acha, you tell me, sales tax liability, sales related. How much tax you need to consider? How much sales happening? How much tax? When do you have to pay tax? These are some pointers you need to consider. Okay. Read further, you'll get more idea. You need 4 marks. 4 marks, 4 pointers. I'll give you easy pointers. Then you tell me whether it's difficult or not. I'm gonna make sure कि आपको substantive procedures with you bring good marks, right? Okay. Uh-oh. Then I wanna do shares for today. Describe substantive procedures auditors should perform to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence for the year-end sales tax liability. Huh. Whenever they are saying year-end, Post year end, pre year end, very obvious, straightforward. Question say, very predictable paper. Sales tax liability. Has and company is required by the relevant tax authority in the country which it operates to charge sales tax of 15% on all products which it sells. All products. Sales tax is payable to the tax authority when purchasing raw materials and incurring expense in the manufacturing process. Company pays 15% sales tax on any items purchased, and this can be reclaimed from the tax authority. The company is required to report the tax charged and incurred by completing a tax return. Tax charged. And they have to also file a tax return on quarterly basis. Net amount owing to the tax authority must be remitted within 4 weeks of the quarter end date as well. The financial statement contains 1.1 million liability for sales tax for quarter ended 30th April. What documents you feel easily visible? Tell me. First thing, they are talking about year end. Huh. Hmm. Correct. First thing, year end. Check with the general ledger. General ledger is gonna be everywhere. Huh? Trial balance, general ledger, everything you can write down. Check for the return, check for the reconciliation. That's it. Whether the quarterly 15% has been charged correctly or not, check for the detail of it. Done. Okay. Check for the whether reconciliation or whether the reclaimed amount is 15% or not. Check for that. Because when you will charge 15%, but while reclaiming, is it the 15% same or not? You need to check. Okay. Check how much amount you need to pay to the tax authority. हाँ, true. Recalculate. Literally like कितना easy paper है. Seriously, I'm like कितना easy है ये. Okay. Is it easy? और मेरे को ही लग रहा है. Seriously, it's so easy. नायरा, अक्षत, लिजा, धैर्य, हर्ष, दीपक, आदित्य, नैमित. हाँ, इजी है सच में. मतलब जेन्युइनली स्पीकिंग, व्हेन आई वाज अ स्टूडेंट देयर वाज नो वन टू टेल मी कि भाई डॉक्यूमेंट्स देखो तुम्हें समझ आ जाएगा. इवन आई वाज द पर्सन. हाँ, मैं सच बोल रही हूँ. आई हैड 15 days. फॉर होल 15 days what I did, जॉब से आके 1 घंटा आई हैड प्रिपेयर्ड एवरी नोट्स, है ना, एंड रट रही हूँ मैं, बस लेजिट रट रही हूँ, नथिंग एल्स. कोई मुझे समझाने के लिए था ही नहीं कि भाई डॉक्यूमेंट देखो. आई एम लाइक डॉक्यूमेंट्स पता है तो ये तो कितना इजी है. इट्स रियली इजी. अरे नहीं, एग्जाम में तो हर पेपर डिफिकल्ट लगेगा बिकॉज ऑफ पैनिक, बट लॉजिकली डॉक्यूमेंट्स देख लेना ना. डॉक्यूमेंट्स याद कर लो, पेपर पूरा इजी है. Everything is from the question. See, अभी net owing. How much is amount is remitted? Exactly याद नहीं है. Nearly 60s में थे. With job, हाँ. With job. क्यों? Why? अच्छा, okay. Okay. All right. आप लाना rank. Okay, get a rank, huh? Is there anyone who is planning to get a rank? If you are good with substantive, very high chances you will get rank. It's very easy. Not much difficult. Okay. Okay, moving further. See, first thing, one more thing. They are talking about year-end sales tax return. Compare with the last year. एकदम easy thing. Compare कर लो. Quarter ended nearly 30 to 35. Nearly 30 to 35. See, if you're able to do substantive procedures well, you'll able to draft audit risk also very well. You'll able to identify. Okay. And then test of control is the anyways easy. Honestly speaking, when audit was tough for me, that was the substantive procedures were tough for me. Baki audit risk was easy and TOC is also easy. The substantive procedures are only tough for students. Okay. Okay. Compare with the last year balance. And yeah, they are talking about the quarter ended 30th April. Check for any subsequent period whether they have current or post year correspondence with the tax authority. Check for the correspondence with the tax authority. And what are the liability disclosures? Check with that whether that is as per the accounting standards or not. Liability disclosure, accounting standard in the sense they also have to mention whether current or non-current. But see, non-current. One more thing. You need to understand one thing. You just need to write down whether it's as per the standard or not. The reason is the question is nowhere stating current or non-current. Okay. If you state it's fine, but when it's not stating, avoid doing it. It's just that you will waste extra time. That's it. Now let's read the answer. Check this. Year-end sales tax, trial balance, tax return, reconciliation, tax authority, check the return reconciliation, documents done. Quarterly sales tax, whether that's equal to 15% or whether, yeah, one more thing we missed out, whether that is equal to last quarter sales as per the detailed day listing. If you forget this, it's fine. Okay. Check the recalculate the sales tax that is incurred as per the reconciliation is equivalent to 15% or not. Final quarter purchase expense that is detailed listing considered or not. You need to check. Recalculate the amount payable. We did that. Sales tax to be charged, less sales tax incurred. You can also consider one thing. Input tax. Acha, where is input tax charged and when is output tax? Study tax. Tell me, when is input tax and when is output tax charged? Input purchase. Yes, good. Ask question, Naira question. Easy way to remember. Goods comes in, purchase. Remember, goods comes in, input. Goods go out, output tax. Goods comes in is purchase. Purchase. Output. Sales. Goods go out. Okay. Check for the difference. It should be, they are not saying output. Usually they are not saying right now, but yeah, when they talk about indirect sales, indirect tax, then you need to consider this. Input minus output minus input. Let's say they are asking for VAT. Check for year end VAT liability. Check for the VAT reconciliation statement. Check whether that's correctly disclosed in the financial statement. Check the VAT submitted written, whether the same written is shown into the financial statements. That's all. Okay. Check the HMRC correspondence with HMRC. Check the last year, how they have considered. Okay. These are things. Okay. Compare year end sales tax. Year end, prior year balance, budget, investigate significant influence. Okay. Agree any subsequent payment, any payment made post year bank statement to check whether it's completed or not, whether that is in line with the terms and conditions of tax authority or not. Check for the post year end correspondence with the tax authority. Any additional outstanding payments do you conform with the tax, conform with the year end liability as well. Year-end liability as well. Review any disclosures are made with the sales tax liability. Ensure that is current liability shown or not. Whether that disclosures are in compliance with the accounting standard or not. Whenever there is quarterly they are discussing, it should usually be in current liability. You need to check whether current liability is correctly disclosed or not. Whether sales tax is that correctly disclosed or not. Okay. So yeah, these are the things you will check. That's it. Okay. Chalo. Shall we take a break? Let's take a break and then we'll do shares. Ek second. No, before break, let me see how many things we are left with. Bank done. We are not done with tangible. We are done with the development expenditure. Yes, done. Uh, we are not done with director's remuneration, share capital. Okay, if we do this tangible assets, it will include estimate as well. P&L done, purchases done. Payroll done or not? Smaller entities, you won't be able to identify question. Are we done with the payroll? Huh? No, no? Okay. All right. So yeah, let's go for a break and then we'll do for non-current asset, and if possible, I'll also cover payroll today. Okay? Oh, all right. Are you guys back? Hello. अब लोग डिनर करके बैठते हो? Or you take it during the session? Hmm? After the session, you can eat well if you are okay. I don't. Sure. Probably, I feel I'll be done with this. Today, tomorrow, no, not possible to do today. Chalo, let's do for non-contest. Redundancy cost us, there's no question. Then do a company. Okay. Are we done with this yesterday? Okay, now let's see. We can also do this. Let's do whole question, right? It also has share capital. So it's gonna be good, right? Just a second. We have 30 minutes. We'll be able to do this whole question, which will cover share capital as well and director's remuneration. But yeah, just a second. Okay. Now see. Describe substantive procedure the auditor should perform to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence in respect of the relation with the revenue. Why they're not asking for loan and billing or any property? Okay, okay. Sorry. Sorry, this is a question. Hmm, Now look at this. Really nice question. Describe the substantive procedures auditors should perform to obtain sufficient evidence in relation to the land and building. Hmm. Describe procedure in exceptions of trade receivable circularization in respect of Nile Company and Congo Company. Uh, Further audit evidence in relation to provision and receivable arising for sales of defective goods. Oh, the last question was better. So we can only do land and building part. Rest of all is going to be repetition. But yeah, we can do spinach company after that. Okay. Do you want to do inventory after or before count procedures? So let's do this and then we'll decide whether to do that. Okay. Okay. Now it's 1st July. See, one more thing. In land and building, students mistake what they do. Let's say there is no fire happening or there is no impairment problem. And still, if you write substantive procedures for impairment, that's a problem. What you should do, read the case study, write down according to that. Okay. So it's 1st July. Tenderways are listed on stock exchange. Sells consumer goods to wholesale customer. Consumer goods to wholesale customer. Okay. Company has a large head office at 13 warehouse. You tell me 13 warehouse. What could be a problem? इतना पढ़ के ही I can identify one more thing. Landing building of all warehouse, different areas. Yes or no? Hello. Yes, इतना पढ़ के ही, right? Then supervisor of Mississippi Company and the final audit is 31st March is due to comment short. This shows total assets of 198.5 million. Okay. Profit before income tax 56.1 million. Do you think is it possible? Lisa, is it possible? In land and building, how will they check existence? Land and building, how will they check the existence? You tell me. Go there and check? Yes, very good, very smart. Land deeds, documentation. Acha, physical, go there and check. हाँ कितनी land है? Go there and check would be less. It can be possible, but less possible. Because in case there were machineries, it would be possible. You can count down. कि अच्छा हाँ 10 machineries or 15 or 100 machineries are there or not. But land and building, logically you think you need to, better than that, you need to check. Because even if you go there, they say that this area is my land. Okay. Let's say there's a whole area of the land. And if they say that this much is my area, the auditor is saying, okay, auditor is saying this much is my area. Sorry, company is saying. But actually, only this much is the area. Only this much square feet. You will have papers for this. You can't go there and check physically in this situation, logically. Common sense. Wills. Hmm. Okay. See, even before reading the question, you guys are able to answer. How many marks? It's gonna be 5 marks, 6 marks. 2 तो आपने ऐसे ही दे दिए भाई. Okay. Land and buildings. चलो. Dandubai historically recorded all property and PPE at cost less accumulated depreciation. During the year, management decided to change the accountancy policy for land and building from cost model to revaluation model. Okay. The finance sector hired, okay, one more thing. First thing. They decided to change from cost model to revaluation model. What do you think? What thing will you consider? Reason for change. Good. Reason from change. A rule for revaluation. A rule. No, no, no. A rule for revaluation. I'm not talking about board minutes. A rule for revaluation. Asset class. No. A rule is that whenever you are revaluing any asset, all the assets should be revalued, not only one. So you need to check whether all the land is revalued or not. Check with the trial balance, agree the balance with the financial statement. A very basic thing, right? And consider, okay, one more thing. Whenever they talk about, there is an external independent valuer. Check that how is the external independent valuer saying. See, the reason why I'm not saying go for OCI or anything right now, because read the question further. If they are highlighting anything, you need to consider what is the OCI or not. Okay. Next, valuer to undertake the valuation of all land building, and this took place on 1st July. Based on 1st July 2024. Depreciation is calculated monthly on pro rata basis. Danube year ends balance of PPE and land and building is 979.2. Oh, monthly pro rata balance. Check whether calculated correctly or not. Sorry. Sorry. Thanks for identifying this. I missed out on this. नहीं होता है, नहीं होता है. Correct. Very good. But they have calculated depreciation and it's land and building. Building can be depreciated, but the land cannot be depreciated. So check whatever the depreciation calculated, that is only for the building. Thanks for identifying. I completely missed out on this. मतलब कभी कभी you get carried away and then you miss out. I missed out on this. I'm so sorry. Yes, one thing. And then there is year end balance. See, there's an increase in balance. Check the documents, supporting documents for fair value because they'll take the new value. Na? Check for that. Agree with the valuer, and when there's independent valuer, yeah, you'll always check for that. Also, whenever you are revaluing this, you need to check the reasonableness and whether the is it applying the IS 16 principle or the gain is classed correctly or not, whether the gain is complete calculated correctly or not, or whether that is showing under revaluation surplus, whether the amount is correct calculated or not. When you revalue, you need to consider while revaluation, the depreciation is considered on the revalued amount or not, and confirm that from this asset, and depreciation is considered from that day or not, you'll consider that as well. Okay, check the sample and sample of land and building and confirm the existence. Okay, confirm the existence in this scenario. If you're revaluing a land, let's say for example, okay, audit company says that, and what perspective weak existence can matter here. See, existence. What is posh area? Which is a posh area in Mumbai? Santa Cruz? Huh. Well, you guys are from Mumbai, na? Santa Cruz? Meko, I don't know. Which area is a posh area? Bandra. Bandra? Okay, great. Let's say if a company says that, and which normal area? Medium area? Kandivali, Borivali? I know only two, three areas. Malad, Sion. Malad is how? Good area? Nalasopara. Okay. Let's say you have 100 acre land, which is gonna be too much. No. Huh. And let's say you have 100 acre land, same thing in Nalasopara. Is the valuation gonna be same? You have a land in front of whose house? Mannat, nearby Mannat. Is the valuation gonna be same? No. That's when you need existence. Let's say a company is saying that I have land in a posh area. You need to check whether it's actually there or not. Okay. That for that particular thing, you'll confirm the existence. Okay. Uh, Check whether all the lands are correctly recorded or not. Check with the general ledger. Check the financial statements whether they comply with IAS 16 or not. You need to ensure that the land depreciation is not included in the statement. All those things you'll consider. Let's see the handle the company. Cast schedule of all land and building. All, whether all are considered or one should not, only one shouldn't be considered, all should be. Check with the trial balance of the financial statement. Check with the competence and capability. Competence and capability of the valuer, because the external party is coming up. You need to consider this. See, one more thing. Whenever they are saying that there is an external person coming up, go there and write this procedure, full-fledged 1 mark for that. Okay, through inquiry, qualification, check their qualification, membership, professional body, experience, how they are valuing these type of assets, etc. That's it. Okay. Review, is there any assumptions or a method that needs to be adopted by valuer undertaking revaluation? Confirm the reasonableness, compliance with the principle of IAS 16. How will you consider? Agree the schedule, check the schedule of revalued land and building, check with the valuation statement that is provided with the non-current asset register, because on non-current asset register you'll see that. Agree all land and building on non-current assets register to valuation reports to ensure completeness, whether the all balance is there or not of the lending, to ensure all assets are in the same category, revalued in line with IAS 16, all same category in the sense. Check whether all the land and building are IAS 16 or not. IAS 16 in the sense all the assets are used into business only or not. There should be no investment. No investment in the sense no IAS 40. Okay. Because when there is IAS 40, you need to consider the market valuation area. Market value. Do you remember the standard? Just a brief. Because in case in exam you get for this particular market valuation, you need to investment property, you need to get true, any building on lease or collateral. If there's on lease, it's not investment property. Collateral, check for that as well. Okay. Yeah, it's just a brief about the non right to use. True. Okay. So just a brief about IS 40. IS 40 and IS 60. Just a short and fast brush up. So in exam, even if they ask for IS 40, any problematic area, any tough thing, you should be able to answer it. Okay. IS 16 says that whatever my asset is, it should be recorded at cost. Two valuation methods are there, cost and revaluation method. Okay. When you do cost minus accumulated depreciation, that's a method. Okay. And you can revalue it. Revalue, before revaluation, you'll consider depreciation. Okay. Whatever gain you have, the revaluation, you'll get a carrying value. And revaluation, you'll also write on the revalued amount of fair value, it's fine. Whatever the gain you get, gain, that will go into OCI, other comprehensive income. Logic behind this is very simple. All the gains which are not sure, which is not realized, it can go negative as well any future time. That's why it will go into OCI. Those kind of gains will go into OCI. Okay? In case there is a loss, let's say after that, if you revalue your asset again, and in case there is a loss, whatever gain there is in OCI, recognize that, remove that gain, set off against the loss, and still extra loss remaining, you show it into PNL. Okay, from PNL you can consider this. And why loss in PNL and why gain in OCI? Because this is following a prudence concept. Okay, prudence concept tells that whatever assets are, try to record as realistic as you can. In short, never exaggerate. In the sense, do you ever show your income? Like, for example, let's say if you are earning 1 lakh, how much do you say to someone? अगर आप 1 लाख कमाते हो, logically, how much will you tell? Don't say 1 crore. 1 lakh a month, how much will you tell to someone? Hmm? There, how much will you tell to someone? 70K? Harsh, you're a very nice boy. Bye. 70K? We are very nice. I'll just say 30,000 a month. I'll say 30,000 or even I might say 20,000. That's a prudence call. Acha, you don't do this in the financial statement because the thing is, you will understate it. Okay? But you consider, let's say, you get a job offer which has 12K, 12 lakhs plus bonus. Then you will consider 12 lakhs. Even if the bonus is additional 12 lakhs, you will not consider this right now. That's the thing. Okay? But in financial statements, you cannot show mera wala funda ki 30,000 I am earning. You can't show that. Okay. But in case there are expenses, you are planning a trip, you will maximize, you will consider all the maximum expenses. That's a prudence concept. That's why they are showing loss into P&L statement, but gain into OCI. One thing. Okay. Second thing, when do you revalue your asset? Revalue only when it's required. Required in the sense when you find out there's a significant difference, at that time you'll revalue your asset. Okay. And whenever you revalue whole class of the asset. And whatever the revalued amount, from that point you will depreciate it. Okay, that's a IAS 16. If I talk about IAS 40, IAS 40 says that you have two methods: cost method and fair value method. Cost method and fair value method. Okay, cost method is the same thing: cost minus accumulated depreciation. Okay, but whenever in IAS 40, whenever you change your asset, whenever you revalue your asset, in the sense consider it a fair value, whatever gain is that will go into PNL. See, why? Logically is that in investment property, you can actually sell it. And if I talk about whenever you revalue, IAS 40 is for, sorry, investment property. Yeah? Investment, and this is plant and building, PPE, property, plant and equipment. This is for business use and this is for investment use. Okay, investment use. That's it. One thing. Now, whenever you revalue your investment property, you will take the fair value consideration. So, fair value has a standard which is IFRS 13. In exam, if you don't remember any standard number, don't write down. जाके ऐसा मत show करो, I don't know. Don't write down. Examiner will never ask you that. Okay, just say that as per the fair value standard. As per the fair value standard, there are 3 stages: stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. Stage 1, okay, there are 2 types of market: active market and advantageous market. Advantageous, active market, highest level of activity; advantageous market, most profitable. That's the keywords. Okay. If I talk about the stage 1, IFRS 13 says that, IFRS 13 for market value says that whenever you take your asset valuation, take for the identical. Identical in the sense, let's say if you are identical, all the qualities, everything will be ditto same. For example, shares. If I have 5 Reliance share, if I tell you 5 Reliance share, how will you identify मेरे पास कितना पैसा है? Reliance में I mean shareholding, or let's say money in the shares. How will you identify? How much will you consider? Amount बताओ चलो. Naira, tell me the amount. 5 multiply 1519.40, 7,000. You will say basically she has 7,597 worth shares, rupees shares. Okay, that's what identical. The shares I have and the shares listed in the stock market is the same. Usually in shares you will find out identical. Any securities which has the same listed in the market, you will find out identical. That's one. Okay. And second thing, similar market. Let's say I have a property in Bandra, small property in Bandra. I don't know the valuation of that small property, but I know there's a plot just in front of me or just beside me. I know the prop valuation for that. Divide total valuation divide by total acres or total square feet. I'll be able to identify value for my square feet and I'll able to take that. Okay. Similar price, similar in your active market. Active market. And here identical in the second level, second stage, this is stage one. Second stage, identical into your most advantageous market. Advantageous market, let's say take any other in land, you cannot take advantages. But let's say you have investment property. Let's say if I have a software, I can consider as an investment. Okay. So I can take that. Okay. Third thing, if you do not have any valuer, you can take any valuation basis. You don't know which stage you need to consider. Take the input, what are cost you require to build up that asset. That's why this is considering the real market value. That's why whatever the gain or loss, it will always go into a P&L statement. That is as per the rule. Okay. Third thing, whenever you revalue your investment property, you need to revalue every year. This won't be done every year. Okay. And whenever you revalue, after revaluation, depreciation won't be charged. So whenever in exam they are not asking for PPE, but they are asking for IAS 40, you should be able to write down that can check whether it is considering which stage of the fair value, which level of the fair value measurement, which market are they considering. That one thing. Check whether the depreciation is calculated or not. Okay? Because in exam you can expect any kind of question. समझ आ रहा है? Hello. Okay. I'm just trying to consider maximum possible scenarios. Exam में I want my students to get rank और at least अच्छे मार्क्स से एक अटेम्प्ट में निकालो ऑलरेडी. Okay. Now check for the sample. Check for the non-current resistor physically confirm existence. You haven't heard IS 40? Have you done FR? You can read the FR notes. Okay? It's just a standard. Do you need a standard video or brochure? Anything? I was planning for a video for standards. Do you need this? That's enough. That's enough. Do you need it? So I'll plan things. I'll plan accordingly. कभी कभी क्या होता है सेशंस में if I don't get time to discuss everything in detail और जैसे this is FR knowledge required. Okay, I'll upload a video. Okay, you will find it on YouTube. Okay. Now if I talk about for sample of land and building, check non-conductor registered whether that particular area is recorded or not. Review the financial statement relating with the IS 16 or not. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Uh, okay. Do you want to do this or shares wala? Shares wala na last question. Shares. Okay. Shares. Okay. Chalo. Cool. All right. Let's do shares. You know what? Whenever you do any substantive procedure, read this. These are the wordings which examiner is looking. जहां जहां दिया है for sure look at this. Shortcut way to score good marks in audit. My laptop is stuck. Just a second. Na, na, na. See, the point is you don't need to write down the same, you need to consider the gist. देखो, share है, they are giving you, even if there are 4 marks required, they are giving you 10 substantive procedures. In the sense, you need to identify 10 documents. Okay? And never write same, huh? Never write same. Just a second. Just a second. Hmm. Documents याद कर लो, documents से कौन से pointers you can consider, remember that, and good to go. Never write same substantive procedure as per the exam kit, because usual case में that gives the copy case. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Describe the substantive procedure in relation to the share capital. Chalo, before considering this, we'll take some time. Okay. Before considering share capital. Okay. Is my this screen visible? Word file. In share capital, what are documents you can have? If a company is issuing shares, what things they'll get? Tell me for shares. Logically, if the company is issuing shares, cash would come, cash, bank. Okay. If shares, share documents. Huh, very good. Just identify the areas. Share prospects, yes. Share is a big thing or not? Hmm. Share is a big thing or not? Big thing. Board minutes. Board minutes. Huh. And then whenever they issue shares, they issue share at a share face value. There's also going to be a premium. You need to check whether it's correctly recorded or not. Share capital or premium. So in which statement do you confirm? Split, yes. In which statement do you have? Do you know there are total 5 statements? हाँ, balance sheet पक्का तुक्के मार लो ना यार. Changes in equity, statement of changes in equity. Fifth statement. SOCE, statement of changes in equity you have. See, you have not studied FA ना, इसीलिए आपका ये मतलब इसीलिए you are. See, I'll tell you. There are total 5 documents. एक second. हाँ, सब बैच में भी होगा. एक सेकंड ना. There are total 5 documents. Okay. Hmm. There are total 5 documents. The total 5 documents. SOFP, statement of profit and loss. Okay. SOPL, SOFP, statement of financial position. SOPL, statement of profit and loss. SOCE, statement of changes in equity. Okay. Whatever OCI balance that comes here, OCI balance changes, everything will come here. Whatever SOPL balance that will come under the asset area. No, sorry. Retained earnings area. Sorry. Retained earnings area. Yeah. Your earnings will also come into here. Net earnings. Okay. And whenever you issue shares, you'll also consider the dividends in the same OC balance you'll find out. And then you have notes. Actually, sorry, you have cash flow statement and then you have notes. So these are 5 statements you have. Okay. Now see, share prospects, share memorandum, share memorandum. Okay. And then changes in the shareholding, or you will also check whenever you are issuing shares, you will check whether any right issues are there or not. Right issue or any bonus shares. Huh. You will also check dividends. Okay. For shares, you will check whether that's preference or equity, normal equity shares. For shares, you can also check one thing. A share is always given in the on behalf of this only. I mean, cash only. Hmm? Will only cash happen? Paka everywhere. Isn't there some another thing? Commission. No. I'm talking about. Actually, it happened. My relative, 2001 when I was born. Yeah, underwriter, share underwriter. Oh, sorry, I had to reveal my age. Sorry, I wasn't supposed to. Yeah, there was a relative of mine. Okay, no, I'm coming into it. Coming on to it. So when he did, he worked for Symphony Company. Okay, Symphony Company, instead of giving whole amount in cash, he gave some shares in exchange of the work he did. So it was not actually cash. Not whole cash was given. In exchange of the work, we need to also check what is exchanged for. Hmm. Right? You need to check. These are the areas you need to check. Ab dekho, read this. It's gonna be very easy. Most of the documents they'll discuss it here only. Substantive procedure in case of the share swap. Wow, this is not working at all. 135, 175, or 35. Hmm. How much is it here? Only one line statement is it here. Substantive in the issue of the share capital, only 4 marks. Company, read this. It's 1st July. You are an audit supervisor of the Sweetcorn and Company, responsible for the final audit of your existing client, Spinach Company, which is due to commence in September 20x5. Spinach Company is a listed company which manufactures garden furniture. Its draft financial statement for the year ending is 31st July, which shows a revenue of 65.1 million and profit before income tax at 18.2 million. The following matters: revenue and profit before income. Company is looking forward to expand operations by securing additional factory site in Jan. Okay. In order to raise sufficient capital to fund the factory, issued ordinary shares at a premium, raising a sum. How much documentation is given? Nothing much is given. In this kind of questions, nothing much is given. But still, you can easily get. See, first thing, issuing shares is small matter or big matter. Very basic thing. Small matter or big matter? Big matter. Board minutes. Even if there's nothing given, board minutes. Review, right? Additional shares are issued. And looking forward to expand. When they want to issue, check whether it's allowed or not. Allowed in that particular country where they are doing or not. Okay. Check whether they have correctly calculated, correctly accounted share premium into share premium account and share capital into as a share capital account. Yes, yes. Very good. Check the bank statement. हाँ, 4 तो ऐसे ही हो गए. Bank statement 4.3 million. When you have cash, confirm that with the cash flow statement, bank statement, is it correct? And check detailed costs of premium or recalculate. Okay. Inspect the bank ledger. Something with face value in the sense. What do you mean? What do you mean? Face value I already identified. Na? You can write down like this. Check whether the face value of the face value check with the OCE document whether the valuation whether the amount received of 4.53 million whether that is correctly recorded difference between face value and the premium. You can write down that. Now, are they stating anything like this? They are not stating. First of all, in exam, you should always try to get easy marks. Okay, what is easily visible, and they are not stating anything. So the it doesn't mean to write it down. Okay. True. Review the disclosure, draft financial statement, whether that's as per the reporting standard or not. Very good. I'm really happy because you guys are really doing good in substantive procedures. ऐसे ही बोल रहे थे मेरे को मैम substantive procedures difficult है. You're actually doing good. मतलब आप answers दे पा रहे हो, right? अच्छी बात है. चलो, read this. See. Big matter, any insurance proceeds, any matter. Board minutes, confirm additional shares have been issued at the issue price or not, confirm that. Issue price permitted, what are the issue price there, whether that's permitted as per the statutory constitution or not, we'll consider. Check for the legal documentation, correspondence of the share, prospect of the, and confirm the detailed issue. Agree the issue of new shares as per the shares register. Is it correct or not? Inspect the bank ledger, bank statement, any evidence of the cash received, the shares issued, same thing. Check the sum received, which is sum received is less than 4.3 million. Confirm the difference. Confirm whether share capital is called up but not paid in the financial called up share capital, not paid in the financial statement. You need to consider that. Recalculate the split of proceed between nominal value, face value of the shares, and premium issue correctly recorded within the shares or OCE. Review the disclosure of shares, financial statement, ensure it's in line with the relevant accounting, local legislation. That's it. Done with the shares. Any doubts? One more thing. In study up, every chapter, there are multiple chapters, right? For every chapter, topic wise. Are they doing share for feature? Are they forfeiting any shares? Cancelling any shares? No, and you don't need to. See, stick to the case study. You'll only get marks when you stick to the case study. Okay, that's it. One thing. And every chapter in Study Hub, you will identify there is a separate test your understanding which has all the documentation. If you remember only those, then also it's good to go because most of time in exam you will be given. See, only in this scenario you have seen that only three-liner question is there. Usually you will find out multiple areas are there. Everything is there in the question. करना क्या है बस वही identify करना है. That's it. Hmm? So tomorrow we are left with Dhairya. This is cute. Cartoon. Hmm? How are you feeling now? अब ऑडिट समझ आ रहा है? You can unmute and speak. Like कुछ बोलो. मेरे को लग ही नहीं रहा है कि I'm सही for the working. हाँ धैर्य ऑडिट समझ आ रहा है अब?
हाँ अभी थोड़ा थोड़ा समझ आ रहा है। वैसे बीच बीच में अभी मैं टाइम पास कर रही थी तो इसके वजह से वो आ गया।
Come on, I'm drinking water. और जैसे आप बोल रहे हो तो आपकी जो कैट है ना ओके वो बोल रहा है, मतलब एक्चुअली वर्डिंग से आ रहा है। I was like, ठीक है, अब समझ आ रहा है ना। और जहाँ ध्यान दोगे वहां समझ आ जाएगा, ऑडिट इज इजी। इट्स फनी, ये कहाँ से लगाया आपने ऐसा कार्टून? हेलो, नाउ यू कैन स्पीक। वैसे बताओ कैसे लगाया। हाँ, सिखा दो हमें भी। चूज अवतार। Oh no, no. And then if you speak something, it will be a funny class. Okay, and the last day, I want you guys to keep your cameras on because I take pictures. I like, of course, Gen Z, हम memories तो रखेंगे। हाँ, टाइम पास चल रहा था मेरा। भाई पढ़ लो, नेक्स्ट अटेम्प्ट में देना है। You can ask doubts here. Who knows whether we are meeting or not? You never know, we never know, है ना?
हाँ, अभी मेरे को सब्सटेंटिव प्रोसीजर क्लियर हो गया है।
अच्छा, ऑडिटर्स भी हो जाएगा।
तो अभी थोड़ा लास्ट में से खत्म होने की राह देख रही थी मैं, कभी खत्म होगा, तो मैंने सोचा कि कुछ एक्सप्लोर ही कर लेती हूँ।
ओके, नाइस नाइस, ऑलराइट ऑलराइट, कोई नहीं। आपको सब्सटेंटिव प्रोसीजर आ गया? हाँ, पेरोल भी बचा है, देखो क्या क्या बचा है।
हाँ।
अब आप सब्सटेंटिव प्रोसीजर्स कर लेना, ठीक है? मतलब सब्सटेंटिव प्रोसीजर सारे निपटा लो। चैप्टर सब्सटेंटिव प्रोसीजर से स्टार्ट करो एंड डू इट। इवन योर
ओके।
स्टडी जो नॉर्मल सेशंस है उसमें सब्सटेंटिव प्रोसीजर्स पढ़ लो एंड देन गो फॉर इट।
और थ्योरी में क्या क्या करना है?
थ्योरी में सबसे शॉर्टकट ट्रिक बताओ, थ्योरी की ऑडिट की। ये ना जिनके अटेम्प्ट लगते हैं ना, उन्हीं का दिमाग दौड़ता है। तो लकी यूके मेरा लग गया था। थ्योरी में जब मैंने रियलाइज किया था, जितना भी कुछ भी दिया है ना स्टडी एग्जाम किट में, एवरीथिंग जहाँ स्ट्रेट क्वेश्चन है वही स्ट्रेट क्वेश्चन आ रहा है। ओके,
ये
पूरी एग्जाम किट में जहां जहां, वेरी रेयर चांसेस कुछ अलग आ रहा है, लाइक 5% और 10% चांसेस, बाकी तो सब कुछ उसी में से आ रहा है। ओके,
बट ऐसा बोलते हैं कि सेम क्वेश्चंस नहीं आते।
स्ट्रेट क्वेश्चंस में सेम निकलता है। तो पूरी एग्जाम किट में सब कुछ कवर हो जाता है, इसीलिए निकलता है।
ओके, तो मैं एग्जाम किट ही करूँ अभी, मैं ये छोड़ देती हूँ स्टडी।
नहीं नहीं, ये आपको करना है। आपने एफआरबी नहीं कर रहा है, आप एग्जामिनेशन से आए हो। आपको स्टडी टेक्स्ट करना है, बट स्ट्रेट क्वेश्चंस के लिए पढ़ो सब कुछ। बट जब आपको मेमोराइज करना है स्ट्रेट क्वेश्चन, तब ना आपके जो एग्जाम किट में पीछे जितने भी दिए ना, जैसे ये रिपोर्टिंग चैप्टर का है, रिपोर्टिंग चैप्टर हुआ नहीं है आपका अभी। अगर आपका उधर हो गया हो, तो हो सकता है। एफआर सबको नहीं मिल, नहीं नहीं, एफआर एग्जामिनेशन नहीं मिलता। ठीक है,
एफआर में मुझको एग्जाम्शन नहीं है, बस अभी नहीं है, एफआर बाद में।
प्रिपेयर नहीं किया। हाँ, आपने प्रिपेयर नहीं करा ना, इसीलिए। तो आप लोग सब्सटेंटिव चैप्टर्स चैप्टर्स पढ़ो एंड देन गो फॉर इट।
ओके।
ओके, एंड क्लास का जो आपके रेगुलर क्लास की रिकॉर्डिंग्स है उसको पढ़ो, उसको देखो एंड देन गो फॉर इट। फिर आप मेरे वाले देख लो, अब वापस देखना हो तो। बीच में ये जो कैट वैट ऐड कर रहे थे, है ना?
इतने देर से बैठी थी, इतना कंटाला आ गया था, अब मेरे को ऐसा था कि खत्म हो जाए, तो इसलिए
ओहो, देखो
टाइम
आप
पास
बोलते नहीं हो ना,
करना था।
इसलिए कंटालते हो। वैसे माय सेशंस आर नेवर
नहीं,
वन
मैं
वे।
स्टार्टिंग से अच्छे से सुन रही थी, बट लास्ट में थोड़ा सा डिस्ट्रैक्शन हो ही जाता है, अभी कितना देर
कोई
बैठ।
बात नहीं, हाँ कोई बात नहीं, आई टोटली एग्री। थोड़ा इंटरेक्टिव रहा करो, मजा आएगा आपको।
हाँ, वैसे मैं
जेन्युइनली।
बीच बीच में ऐसे चैट वेट डाल देती हूँ, तब आपने
हाँ,
पूछा तो।
नहीं अनम्यूट करके बोलो, मेरे को लगेगा कि हाँ भाई ईयरफोन्स काम तो कर रहे हैं,
हम्म।
है ना?
डन।
आई तो ऑलवेज कीप माई क्लास इंटरेक्टिव। भाई बोर हो, मैं खुद बोर हो जाती थी, मैं तो सो जाती थी। बोर क्या होना है? जेन्युइनली, वैसे स्टूडेंट थी, लाइक क्या कर सकते थे। एक बार रिडंडेंसी डन, रिडंडेंसी प्रोविजन करेंगे, आइए एस्टिमेट्स करेंगे, पेरोल डिस्कस करेंगे, रेम्यूनरेशन फॉर मैनेजमेंट करेंगे। मैम, एग्जाम किट के फॉर्मेट जैसे ही क्वेश्चन होते हैं, इन द सेंस कैसे? मेरा कैसे? कौन सा है किट में गलत आंसर? हाँ, देखो पॉसिबिलिटी है, इसको वेरीफाई हम स्टडी टेक से कर लेंगे।
अभी ऐसे
बीपीपी
मत
में,
बोलो कि इसमें एग्जाम कितना गलत आंसर है।
सुनो, बीपीपी में
अभी
ज्यादा
मैं वही
निकलते
कर
हैं।
रही हूँ।
नहीं, ब्लाइंडली नहीं रिलाय रहना है। हाँ, 5 मार्क्स नायरा, 5 मार्क्स ईच, हाँ, यू विल गेट द सेम वे। सेम वे इन द सेंस दे कैन ऑल्सो आस्क फॉर 7 मार्क्स, 6 मार्क्स। ओके, यूजुअली व्हेन आई वाज स्टडीइंग, मैंने एक बार ही बीपीपी उठाई थी, एंड दैट तो एक्चुअली ऑडिट के लिए ही उठाई थी मैंने, जब भी उठाई थी। एंड तभी मुझे बीपीपी में कुछ कुछ क्वेश्चंस गलत लगे, उसके बाद मैंने कभी बीपीपी के सामने देखा ही नहीं, क्योंकि इट वाज जस्ट एडिंग मोर कंफ्यूजन टू मी। कभी कभी होता है, बट यू ऑलवेज नीड टू वेरीफाई फ्रॉम द ताने नहीं मारने हर्ष। एफएम में भी है ना, हाँ, ताने नहीं मारने। ये इतना नहीं बताना था, प्लीज हेजिटेट। ओहो, मी, इट्स ओके, इट्स ओके, कोई बात नहीं है।
इसलिए इतना भी बताना नहीं होता है खुल के, जो लोग
नहीं
ताने
देखो,
मारने लगे।
नहीं कोई बात नहीं, देखो आई डोंट वांट यू कि हाँ भाई ये प्रेशर लेके चलो, ठीक है। व्हेन आई फेल फर्स्ट टाइम, मैं बहुत डर गई थी, मैं फेलियर के डर से बहुत डरती थी। सो फेल होना इज नॉट अ बिग थिंग कि भाई क्या हो गया, क्या कर लिया। नहीं, टेक इट लाइटली, लर्न करो, सीखो, फिर आगे अच्छे से करोगे। देखो, आई फेल्ड, दैट्स व्हाई आई एम वेरी गुड एट ऑडिट नाउ। उस टाइम मैं, आई वाज लाइक ऑडिट निकाल लूं बस, सबको पता था ये ऑडिट के पीछे रो रही है, and अभी आई एम रियली गुड एट ऑडिट। तो कोई बात नहीं है, ठीक है। एनीथिंग एल्स?
मैम
हाँ, हाँ,
11th एंड 12th चैप्टर कब तक होगा?
कल करा देता, कल कंप्लीट करा देता।
11th एंड 12th
वो बहुत छोटा सा चैप्टर है, कुछ है ही नहीं उसमें ज्यादा।
छोटा सा है, बट मैम थोड़े से उसके क्वेश्चंस आते हैं, स्पेशली रिपोर्टिंग से।
कहाँ आते हैं बताऊं? शेयर कैपिटल के बाद
हाँ,
तीन से आते हैं।
एम्पैथाइज ऑफ पैराग्राफ की मैटर्स
फाइव,
वो
फाइव।
सब में आते हैं।
हाँ धैर्य, आप जा
तो
सकते
उसमें
हो।
मेरे को क्लियरिटी नहीं है, क्योंकि मैंने ऊपर ऊपर से देखा है, सो इजी है, बट मैंने ऊपर ऊपर से देखा, सो एक बार रिवीजन चाहिए था।
ठीक है, चलो, आई ट्राई माई बेस्ट कि हम कल ही करें, बट अगर आपको क्लैरिटी नहीं है, मुश्किल है, तो फिर हम थोड़ा पार्ट देख सकते हैं, परसों भी कर सकते हैं। डिपेंड्स ऑन यू, बिकॉज मेरे को तो इतना है कि आपको लगे कि भाई सेशंस आर गोना, द सेशंस वर हेल्पफुल, दैट्स इट। ओके,
ओके
ऑलराइट गाइस, बाय बाय, हैव अ गुड डे, गुड नाइट, सो जाओ चुपचाप, और एल्स इफ यू वांना स्टडी, गो ऑन।
मैम, नॉर्मली अभी मैं 70 मार्क्स का कर रहा था, मतलब सुबह से किया, तो इट्स
हाँ,
टेक 4 hours टू डू, मोर देन 4 hours टू कंप्लीट 70 और 70 मार्क्स क्वेश्चन।
क्यों?
स्लो हो रहा है मैम, बहुत बड़ा है, एंड देन टाइपिंग स्पीड एंड ऑल।
तो फिर आप ना रोज के 2-3 क्वेश्चन प्लीज टाइप करो, वरना पेपर छूट जाएगा। ऑडिट के बच्चों की यही प्रॉब्लम, वो पेपर ही नहीं कंप्लीट कर पाते। और आप 20 मार्क्स का पेपर तो आप लिख नहीं रहे हो, 80 में से कितना एक्सपेक्ट करोगे? उसमें से भी एमसीक्यूज है, छोटी सी गलती कर दी, राइट? सो ट्राई टू प्लीज मेक श्योर। और जैसे अगर आपकी टाइपिंग स्पीड ही बुरी है, तो फिर सेक्शन ए से ही जाना पेपर में, ठीक है।
नो, एक्चुअली मैं तो अभी प्रैक्टिस प्लेटफॉर्म पे ही प्रैक्टिस करो पास्ट ईयर क्वेश्चंस।
हाँ, प्रैक्टिस प्लेटफॉर्म पे सारे कर सकते हो, नॉट एन इश्यू। बट इवन इफ यू डू वन बाय वन, इट्स फाइन। मेरा मोटिव बस इतना है, आप ना ट्राई करो किसी हाल में 1.5 पर मिनट लेके आओ क्वेश्चन को। 30 मार्क्स का कर रहे हो, इवन इफ सब्सटेंटिव प्रोसीजर्स ही कर रहे हो, थोड़ा मतलब सब्सटेंटिव का पार्ट कर रहे हो, जैसे यहाँ 30 मार्क्स का क्वेश्चन में अभी हमने लास्ट चैप्टर्स नहीं किया, आप 25 मार्क्स का कर पाओगे। 25 मल्टीप्लाई 1.5 पे लेके आओ, 37.5 मिनट्स का टाइमर लगा के करो। इवन इफ नॉट दैट, 1.6 पे तो लाने का ट्राई करो, 1.8 पे नहीं। धीमे धीमे हो जाएगा, स्टिल यू हैव लॉट ऑफ, फुल टाइम स्टूडेंट हो ना आप।
यस।
हाँ, आराम से हो जाएगा। टाइप ही तो करना है ना? और टाइप करते टाइम वन मोर थिंग यू नीड टू टाइप इज, ये जो शेयर कैपिटल है, इन सबके डॉक्यूमेंट्स टाइप करो, तो धीमे धीमे हो जाएगा, ऐसा बढ़ जाएगी
टाइम,
स्टडी।
सब्सिडी प्रोसीजर तो नहीं ले रहा है, बिकॉज उसमें नॉर्मली 6 मार्क्स 5 मार्क्स का आता है, पॉइंट वाइज मार्क्स मिलते हैं।
हम्म।
बट ऑडिट ट्रिक्स एंड इंटरनल कंट्रोल में, क्योंकि रिक्स उनको एक्सप्लेन करना पड़ रहा है, सो वर्डिंग्स हमारे ज़्यादा हो जा रहे हैं, और देन प्लस रिस्पॉन्स में कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं आ रहा है कि एक रिस्पॉन्स ही बेटर है कि नहीं, तो उसके अगेंस्ट में मेरे को सेकेंड रिस्पॉन्स देना पड़ रहा है, सो दैट्स वाई द टाइम इज टेकन।
हम्म, एक्चुअली एक रिस्पॉन्स जब आप अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन करते हो ना, जब भी सी इन रिस्क आपको देखना होता है। रिस्क वाली चीज एग्जैक्टली कॉपी, लाइक स्टेटमेंट से देखो, ठीक है। उसको बताओ फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट में कौन सा रिस्क है, ठीक है। अब स्टैंडर्ड से कुछ उल्टा है, तो शो दैट कि स्टैंडर्ड फॉलो नहीं किया, उस रिस्क को कैसे हटाओगे, शो दैट। बस इतना ही चीज को कंसिडर करके चलो, धीमे धीमे और प्रैक्टिस करो, हो जाएगा, डरने वाली कोई बात नहीं है। रिस्क लेता है मैम ज्यादा। कौन लेता है हर्ष? कौन ज्यादा टाइम? ऑडिट रिस्क? हाँ, ऑडिट रिस्क टाइम लगेगा। बस यूजुअली तो स्टूडेंट्स को सब्सटेंटिव टफ लगता है, आपको ऑडिट रिस्क लग रहा है टाइम लेता है। हाँ, आपको सब्सटेंटिव आ जाएंगे ना तो फिर ऑडिट रिस्क आ जाएगा, क्योंकि ऑडिट रिस्क में कहीं कहीं
सब्सेंटिव इजी है कंपेरेटिवली बाकी दोनों से, क्योंकि
हाँ वो
कॉमन पॉइंट एटलीस्ट हम 3 4 याद रख सकते हैं, बाकी तो अपन क्वेश्चन से निकाल के लिख सकते हैं,
हम्म
तो हो जाता है नॉर्मल सब्सेंटिव
हो
प्रोसीजर।
जाता है। आपने मेरी डॉक्यूमेंट देखा था रिस्क वाला? भेजा था मैंने।
नहीं, आपने नहीं भेजा है कल का डॉक्यूमेंट,
हाँ, मैंने नहीं भेजा।
चैट
ओ,
जीटीपी से आपने जो जनरेट किया था।
अच्छा वो तो नहीं भेजा। चलो मैं दोनों अब भी भेज देती हूँ। अच्छा है याद दिलाने का, टुवर्ड्स द एंड ऑफ द सेशन में। एक मिनट, देखो रिस्क का तो मैंने एक भेजा था, निशी मालवी, वहां जहाँ वाटर मार्क लगा है। कोई साउथ का बंदा देखेगा ना, पक्का मेरे को वापस कर। ये न्यू डॉक्यूमेंट जो है ना, वो न्यू वर्ड फाइल, लेट मी चेंज इट। एक सेकंड ना। सब्सटेंटिव प्रोसीजर, डॉक्यूमेंट्स, चैट जीपीटी। 10 एंड रिस्क। देखो रिस्क, द दिस इज इन दिस जितना है रिस्क में, वो आपको बहुत हेल्प करेंगे। बट आई वुड रिकमेंड कि आप खुद भी करो, बिकॉज इसमें मैंने काफी सारी चीजें लिख दी थी, और देर आर पॉसिबिलिटीज कुछ आगे पीछे भी हो, बिकॉज आई वॉज ऑल्सो स्टूडेंट। ये वाले अटेम्प्ट में हो गया था मेरा हर्ष। हाँ, अच्छे से पढ़ा था। ओके, ऑल राइट गाइस, एनीथिंग एल्स? हाँ हाँ, थैंक यू थैंक यू। ओके, लेट लाइक गिव मी द चांस एज वेल। हाँ हर्ष, मैं भी आपको कंग्रेचुलेट करूंगी। डन और नॉट? ओके, या ओके, ऑल राइट गाइस, बाय बाय, हैव अ गुड डे। हाँ, हो जाएगा हो जाएगा। बिकॉज मैं हूं ना, जो गलती मुझे गाइडेंस नहीं मिली, जो गलती मैंने की वो मैं आपको नहीं करने दूंगी, तो ऑफकोर्स हो जाएगा ना, है ना? ओके, ऑल राइट, बाय बाय, हैव अ गुड डे, गुड नाइट, आई एम एंडिंग द सेशन नाउ।